If you enjoy the content, I would appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and checking out my socials.
In Counter-Strike, the AWP is an iconic weapon in the series, traditionally being used to pick enemy opponents off at range. But a player who some fans consider to be the greatest AWPer of all time laid the blueprint on how the weapon could be used, using it in a dynamic style, bouncing from position to position, meeting opponents at the end of his scope. Hey, I'm Smirky, and today I want to look at Dev1ce and how he AWPs on the CT side of Mirage, so let's begin. You need to stop wasting your time looking for good CS2 trading sites.
What?
And I have one that's doing a giveaway with top-up bonuses up to 40%. Yes! Today's sponsor is Trader.gg, the leading trading site proudly powering the biggest names and everyone's favourite team, Vitality. No. To trade, select a skin in your inventory, select a skin from Trader.gg's vast collection and click trade. Or you can top up your balance and gain free additional deposits. On top of that, for every purchase or trade you do with Trader.gg, you gain tickets to enter their giveaway. So why not use Trader.gg? Buy skins, sell skins, and win skins with Counter-Strike's leading trading site. Now let's begin on how Dev1ce AWPs on the CT side of Mirage, starting with Window. Window is Dev1ce's favourite place to start, typically going there in the majority of the rounds. In this round against Sveariket, he has a decent spawn, so he will try and take an opportunity with it and peek into mid. But unfortunately when he peeks, he gets blind from a flash in T-spawn, so he'll take a shot, hoping to get someone and falls off. In round 4, we can see Dev1ce will go for the exact same thing, however he is going to get slightly blocked by BlameF, which could slow down his timing by a little bit. But instead of peeking like normal, he's going to jump on top of this wooden step, allowing his head to be higher than it usually is, making it difficult for the T's to instantly headshot him. In this round, he does get the kill, however he quickly gets traded. But in the large majority of your games, Window is going to be smoked off, so you can't just peek like normal. So what does Dev1ce do with this? Well, one of the players that you've probably seen a lot in Source 2 is just nading the window smoke. He does this by standing next to this wooden step, crouching, aiming underneath the brown smudge, and jump and right click throw. This HE will land outside of window, allowing him to have a gap to see into top mid. But in this round, he doesn't see anything, so he's just going to spam away, hoping to get any tags. But there are other ways Dev1ce likes to use his HE in window. In this round, we can see Dev1ce will make his way through, and instead of grenading the window smoke, he's instead just going to throw it into top mid, hoping to deal damage to any T-side players wanting to swing out into mid. In round 11, Dev1ce is going to use the exact same HE, but to really pressure that T-side to make him feel unwelcome in top mid, he's going to Molotov the boxes. How? Well, he does this by standing on the wooden step, putting his crosshair on the bottom left of the shadow, and then putting his back against a wall, holding W and left click throwing as he's about to hit the wall. The lineup should look something like this. And if we look at what this does to Sveariket, it forces them out into the open, giving opportunities for your con and short player to get potential kills or damage. However, if you want to throw this Molotov straight away at the start of the round, you can use this lineup. Dev1ce will make his way towards murder hole, and he will line himself up. His crosshair will be in the center of the murder hole, and roughly in line with this mark. And with the safety of the T-side window smoke, he can put his back towards the wall, run and left click throw, forcing tees away from the boxes. And afterwards, he will pair this up with a HE to potentially peek into window. But in this round, his attention is needed on A. Something common you will see when Dev1ce wants to leave window, maybe because he's smoked off, there's nothing mid, or he needs to help the A site, is that he likes to come into jungle and watch palace. In this round, we can see he will throw some util into mid, and then make his way into jungle, putting his scope into palace. Makes it so your A player can't get lurked out on, and so they can focus on ramp. But when he wants to leave A to do something else, he will help the A player out by smoking off palace. And again, this behaviour happens a lot with Dev1ce, where he might get smoked out of mid, watch palace for a little bit, and then smoke it off if he wants to rotate to A, or maybe position on the A site. But if you don't feel comfortable holding the tiny little gap from jungle, you can make your way towards Con and have that gap a bit wider, hopefully increasing the chances of you hitting that shot. And as I mentioned at the start, Dev1ce will come to jungle if his A players needs help. Like in this round against NIP, they're executing onto the A site, and this angle is really powerful to hold, as it essentially cuts the A site in half, meaning no one can enter this space to get the bomb down, giving his teammates time to rotate to A and get set up for a retake. And of course, if anyone does enter that area, Dev1ce can start getting some kills. In this round though, when he gets that kill, he doesn't want to give away the man advantage, so they could play for retake in the 4v3 advantage. And this is another good example where Furia will try and rush onto the A site on an eco, and Dev1ce will try and hold that line, splitting the A site in half. Now, at times when Dev1ce has the spawn for A, or he wants to switch things up, he likes to come over towards A. So we're going to look at a few stuff he likes to do at the start of the round. I've seen Dev1ce and Yabi run this ramp setup, where at the start of the round, Yabi is going to throw a Molotov towards ramp, and Dev1ce will throw a flashbang above mid. The Molotov will be used to stop the Ts from rushing into the A site, and the flash will be used to slow down the Ts from pushing into mid. Yabi will start making his way close into ramp. Meanwhile, Dev1ce will hold for any potential peaks. When nothing comes out of it, they'll start making their way up for a ramp setup. Yabi will make his way into ramp and clear his right, and then put himself into this corner. Meanwhile, Dev1ce will watch the angle, ready for any Ts to peek into his crosshair. I will say this is a pretty common setup, but the intention of this is for Dev1ce to get the initial kill, he will fall away, and him being the bait, the Ts hopefully shouldn't look at Yabi when they try to trade. But again, this is pretty common, so don't be surprised if they do clear the corner Yabi is in. However, in this round, Furia are making their way up for a B split, so Dev1ce rotates away. In round 6, we can see something similar. They will throw the Molotov and the flash, start making their way into ramp, and put themselves again into this setup. They are going to be in this setup for a very long time, until Furia plays their hand. And the hand Furia is playing is them wanting to split onto the A site using connector. So Dev1ce will smoke off Palace to reduce the angles the Ts can come from, and make his way over to Ticket to watch Con. The last setup you can do with your A player is you being Ticket and then being Sandwich. In this, Dev1ce is going to throw a Molotov at ramp, and Yabi will throw a flash into mid. But in this setup, Yabi is going to re-Molotov ramp and give Dev1ce his extra smoke, allowing Dev1ce to re-smoke his ramp for when Yabi is tucked in and sandwich. Now from this point, Dev1ce can watch ramp and Yabi can watch Palace. But in this round, Yabi is hiding a sandwich, so maybe if it was you, you could jiggle Palace or hold it. It's up to you. But if you are playing solo towards the A site, here's some things you can try. In round 7, Dev1ce is going to be left alone towards the A site as his teammates are going to be rushing mid. To help this, Dev1ce is going to be throwing flashbangs above mid, and then for his own safety, a smoke for ramp. The flash will be used to blind the Ts as they come up towards top mid, making it difficult for them to wide swing on the Astralis members pushing on mid. After that though, he's going to throw another flashbang, which should help his teammates push up mid. With his util thrown, he's now going to position himself. In this case, he positions himself on ticket looking at ramp. As the smoke isn't very deep, a T could lurk out of it into Tetris. So Dev1ce wants to prevent that from happening. But do be aware of Palace, as a T could lurk out from there. In overtime we can see something similar, except this time he's going to throw a molly towards ramp, and then he's flashbangs. After throwing his util, he's again going to do something similar, where he pays attention at ramp, just in case a T decides to swing out. And it doesn't take that long, as early in the round, Fury wants to pop execute onto the A site, and Cello gives himself up. With this kill, Dev1ce immediately rotates into a different position, making it difficult for Fury to trade his teammates. Now at this point, Dev1ce does have a bit of a one and done position at default, as if he does hit the shot, there's nowhere else really he can fall off to without help from his teammates. And from this default position, you do need to be careful of this headshot angle. From the looks of it, Dev1ce isn't really comfortable with this, so he's going to push up, initially making his way towards under to make sure he can't get spotted as he pushes himself up. When he gets into position, he will slowly peek out, looking for any targets, and well, K-Strato becomes the victim. Now that we know what Dev1ce does at the start of the round, I want to take a deeper look at Dev1ce's positioning on the A site. Starting with ticket. As we already saw earlier, Dev1ce will sometimes play ticket. From this position, he can look at an area like ramp and have a bit of a weird angle wanting to swing out. But by him playing ticket, it allows him to easily pivot onto connector, spotting for Ts wanting to creep into connector, or perhaps go up short. But do be aware, if you are looking connector, your ramp is open if it's not being held. And against NIP we could see something similar, where Dev1ce is playing ticket and he's just going to be pivoting between ramp and connector. But unlike the previous round, he has vision on short, so he can wait for any players wanting to walk up. A round I want to break down though is round 7 against Furia. In this, Dev1ce is playing missiles / triple, looking at short, ensuring no Furia players can make their way onto B, while also having vision on connector. But in this round, Furia are going to smoke his connector off, so as a reaction, Dev1ce will position himself on top of ticket, taking this angle. The smoke that Furia threw makes it so they could look through it. They could go to the right if they want to go to jungle, they could go straight ahead if they're feeling a bit ballsy and maybe with a pop flash, or they could try and sneak their way onto stairs via the left side. So Dev1ce is holding one of 3 possibilities. But unfortunately his teammate Stan, who is under, loses the fight. So because of this, the Ts are in jungle, con, and could be ramp or palace. To ensure he doesn't get isolated and lose his life, he's going to play retake, trying to keep this angle on ramp. But when he doesn't get that shot, again he's going to play for retake and play a bit deeper into CT, while also still managing to cut the site in half. And the last thing I want to showcase is round 15, where Astralis wants to aggress ramp. In this, they have lost mid control and need some sort of map control, so they will respond by aggressing ramp. In this round, Dev1ce will come CT and throw this flashbang into ramp. This flashbang is pretty good, but unfortunately the flashbang doesn't affect head trick, as it goes past the screen. Now that we've looked at what he does at the A site, I think it's only fair we look at the B site. Dev1ce doesn't really come to the B side that often, as it's pretty rare, but it's rare enough to make it a surprise for when he does play there. Against Furia, Dev1ce wants to try and get fast into apps, so he will try and do the balcony boost. Stair was in the right position in this round, but Dev1ce failed his crouch jump. If he had this, he would have such an early timing onto apps, ready for any potential openers. But since he failed the jump, he's going to position himself on van, and it seems like with the changes in Source 2, it now allows players to jump on the bumper of this van. And from the T's perspective, this is a really weird angle, as generally at this head level, Dev1ce's head will either be here, or it would be here, but not like this. But shortly after, Dev1ce wants to change position and get a deeper angle into apps, and from here, he can spot for any players going into under, going into apps, or exiting out of apps. But he wasn't expecting Yuri to be that close. He tries to Molotov Yuri out, and well, eventually gets the better out of him, with only 1 HP to his name. And again against Furia, we can see Dev1ce will use the van bumper angle, getting his sights early into apps, ready for an opener. But due to the util Furia is throwing in this round at B, Dev1ce wants to be safe, so he will throw a Molotov, and later a HE, to deal some potential big damage. And when he feels comfortable that Furia is not executed onto B, he positions himself back into apps. Now that we know how to play these different positions and areas, we now need to understand on when you should travel to each location. And Dev1ce has some base kit reasons for why you need to rotate. The first one being is when an area is open. In this round, we can see Dev1ce towards mid, however there's no one towards apps. So due to this, Dev1ce will rotate to B and hold apartments. Or in overtime, we have this round, where his teammates are pushing into ramp, his teammates on B have got that under control, and connector is smoked. So the only areas that are open is palace and window. And because no one's mid, Dev1ce will take that mantle and hold window. But quickly breaking down this round, Dev1ce rotating into window is trying to hold it, but there is a smoke there, allowing a player like Art to potentially sneak through and place himself in window. Dev1ce, knowing this as a potential threat, waits for the smoke to fade out and then Molotov's window, forcing Art to use a smoke or to swing out into Dev1ce's crosshair. Another reason to rotate is when a player needs help. As the window player, you can easily bounce between A and B. In this round, Furia are executed onto B, so Dev1ce will quickly make his way over. Meanwhile, you still have your A anchor on A, just in case it is some sort of a fake. When Dev1ce makes his way into market, he posts himself into this angle, ready for players to drop down or run into van. But Fallen, understanding this angle, jumps over his crosshair. When Dev1ce makes his presence known on window, he rotates the door to try a different angle. And he is pretty close again getting Fallen, but he was a bit too late. And another example of him helping his players out is round 5. Furia will try and pop out onto the A site, and because he's window, it's really easy for him to rotate and assist. Now, this is a bit more on the aggressive side, but I still wanted to include this. In this round, Astralis are in a 3v4 disadvantage. Due to this, Dev1ce wants to try and even the score to give them a better chance of winning the round. He does this by slowly peeking into connector, but he doesn't get anything. After watching Dev1ce's demos, I've noticed he's systematic. I wouldn't say Dev1ce has as much freedom in the sense he can go anywhere he wants during the round, but it seems like he is used to plug in gaps or assist his teammates if they need help. He's punishing. Dev1ce likes to use his util and angles to punish those blindly walking into an area. His grenades are a great example, as T's full swinging out mid will take a lot of damage if not careful. And lastly, he has great understanding. He likes to place himself into angles where it cuts bomb sites and areas in half, reducing the T-side space if they want to keep their lives. And he also understands when enough is enough and when to play for retake or for his own life. You need to know how to play T-side apps on the new Inferno. Check out this video I did where I broke down how Spinks approaches apps. That can be found in the description. Cheers TradeIt.gg for the sponsor. Thanks for watching, and see ya in a bit.